Hi everyone, welcome back to Sunday Nights with Faye Seidler. We are back and we are doing it, another show. We were on hiatus last week because I was doing the Trans Night of Hope. You can see that up there. The Trans Night of Hope is a event that's a sister event to the Transgender Day of Remembrance. The event centers around hope and resiliency and to showcase all the love that exists for trans people all across the state. It is meant to be a centering event, one to, build hope and resiliency for trans folks in spite of violence they often do experience. The traditional Transgender Day of Remembrance events can be very triggering for individuals. It can be full of a lot of risk factors. In some cases, it can be a healing and hopeful event in itself, but I wanted to create something that was a statewide event that anyone could attend and leave it feeling a bit more hopeful about life. So you can check that out. There's a 3-minute version that's a musical intro, so if you don't have much time, it could be a good time to check it out. And if you get invested and want to watch the whole thing, you can. Also, please share it with people. Please get it out there. You never know who is in your life who might be trans and might need these messages, or allies of trans people who also experience quite a lot of stress because of how we treat trans people in our society. So check it out. It's a good time. Getting into our more traditional news, the 2025 Youthworks art exhibit is happening November 24th. That will be Tuesday in Bismarck at 5:30 p.m. This is an event showcasing a lot of art from youth and to raise awareness for the work that Youthworks does. Youthworks is an organization that helps youth who are experiencing homelessness or who need transitional housing support, a center to come in for basic hygiene needs, as well as helping victims of trafficking across our state. They do quite a lot of things. If a youth is struggling, they are a great place to check out. And you can check out their art on Tuesday in Bismarck at 5:30 p.m. I think you have to register for the event, but check it out, share it, support their mission if you can. In Fargo, the Super Awesome Magical Cabaret Explosion Show is happening November 29th at 7 p.m. So if you're into music and community and loud explosions, I assume it's a noise show, you can check that out. Online on December 1st at 12 p.m., there's an opportunity to look at some data presented by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, looking at media's impact on suicidality. They have a speaker lined up for that. I believe it's free to register, so if you want to get more information on that, you are welcome to do so. How we talk about and report on suicidality does have an impact, which can be both positive or negative. Faye Seidler, myself, actually has unique research into this that I have not seen anywhere else, but I actually found that in reporting when there is a criminal element to it, so something like a murder-suicide, no reporting ever includes 988 information in that case. And that's kind of interesting. No one knows that but me because of the stuff I did, but I'm not a lead researcher at an institute, so they don't care. But I did it. I have the data. It's good data. Now you know about it. Are you a counselor or someone who's counselor adjacent and wants to provide good education you think would be useful for counselors? Because you have until December 1st to submit a webinar to the North Dakota Counseling Association, and you get to teach them. And I think it may come with honorariums, but don't quote me on that. But check it out. Do you like money and kind of do things with food in North Dakota? Because there is a $2,500 grant for prairie producers that is currently out there until November 30th. They define this as folks who do things like baking and canning, I think kind of a farmer's market style. So this might apply to you in any capacity. You could apply for that, but it is through the Strength in North Dakota. So if you don't know about them, you should check them out and sign up for the newsletter because there are more grant opportunities across the year. Speaking in more suicide resources, the CSSRS screening tool, which is a pretty standard tool for talking to someone about suicidality to see where their risk factors might be and to kind of guide the conversation if you're not super comfortable in knowing how to have that conversation. Our state government is providing free printouts. So if you want to order them and hang them up at your institutes, that is something that you can do. The Health and Human Services suicide prevention efforts often have a lot of these kind of opportunities. Generally, the rule of thumb is if you would like stuff that would promote suicide prevention resources, the government kind of wants to give that to you because that's good. We should have that in places. So check out that resource, but also check out the other resources that our North Dakota Health and Human Service Department puts out for suicide prevention. Do you know of a queer-focused youth group in the Red River Valley that could use a little money for a project or an event? The Red River Rainbow Seniors give several projects annually, and it's time for the 2026 grant round. For more information, you can email Red River Rainbow Seniors at rrrainbowseniors@gmail.com. The application deadline is December 14th, 2025. And if you need any information or to connect with them, you can always reach out to me, Faye Seidler, anywhere that I exist, including the video you're currently watching. It's probably on like my Instagram or something. So get in touch with me. This is a wonderful opportunity not just to provide microgrants to our LGBTQ plus youth serving organizations in the Red River Valley area, but also to connect them to our Rainbow Seniors. The Trevor Project survey asked queer youth what gives them hope, and many of them put queer elders do. Queer elders can serve as role models for our LG plus youth and show them what their future can be like and that they can have a future. So I highly recommend any LG plus youth serving organization to apply for this if they're in the Red River Valley area. Not just for the grants, but for the connection. Recently, the federal administration has been given a green light to discriminate against trans people via passports. However, how they're implementing that has been a toss-up. Who knows? The best reporting I've been finding is Aaron in the Morning. I can't get any other consistently good reporting on this because it's just no one knows. For now, though, and this could be untrue at time of you hearing me, they are allowing trans individuals who have changed their passport and don't need to get a new one at the moment to keep what their current one is. So it sounds like future passports might be impacted. However, it's unclear if they are going to, check birth certificates or check change birth certificates or any of that. So the whole thing is still, everyone has to kind of figure it out as they go. In good news that isn't bad news, the Supreme Court declined to hear the marriage equality case, so marriage equality, gay marriage, is something that is currently going to not disappear in the near future. That doesn't mean they might not hear a better case or one that maybe is a better argument for passing long-lasting efforts to reduce gay rights in the future. So it's basically dodging a bullet, but there is still something pointed at us. So it's good news for now, but the fight continues, and even though we have marriage equality that does help a lot of our LGBT plus individuals, the discrimination that has been impacting trans individuals continues to accelerate at the federal, national, and local levels. In other tricky news, much like trans passports, the North Dakota food assistance benefits have been restored. The SNAP benefits have been restored. However, how that's going is it's tough to find out good information. I've heard that people have to reapply for the SNAP benefits. I've heard that they are doing efforts to weed out fraud or to reduce funding, and it's all just kind of weird conjecture and hearsay. So I don't know. I don't know where things are. I don't know if anyone knows. It's just bad. It's still worth supporting your local food shelters. And it's still worth noting that even though it looks like at least some funding for SNAP is restored and it might kind of be a little bit normal, we are seeing wide cuts to essential services, not just SNAP benefits, but healthcare. So it's worth getting more involved politically if you'd want to make sure that our government actually supports the people with essential services. In good news, Governor Armstrong issued an executive order establishing the North Dakota Interagency Council on Homelessness. This is a very direct effort to really reduce and tackle issues impacting homelessness across the state and to make sure that it is a collaborative effort through all the agencies that are currently working on it. It's just been developed very recently, so I don't have much information on it, but I reached out to a couple people involved, and it seems like it's a good direction. So I'm sure I'll have more to report on as time goes on. In bad news, North Dakota ruled that the abortion ban that our state passed was constitutional. It is worth noting that 3 out of 5 of our Supreme Court judges said that it was not. However, they did need 4 out of 5 for it to actually be overturned. Keep in mind that abortion is standard healthcare. It is necessary healthcare. Outside of how anyone might feel about it, there are pregnancies that are not viable and can jeopardize the health of the person who's pregnant. Restrictive abortion bills, such that North Dakota has, increases the risk of all people that are able to get pregnant, all women who are pregnant, because it jeopardizes their lives. The advocates of these bills say, oh, no, well, actually, that's fine. If you have these complications, we're not going to prosecute or criminalize you. But that's not actually how the law is written. The law does not have much wiggle room involved. And if you are a particular doctor providing these services and you have criminality hanging over your head, if you cross the line, you're not going to do it. And not only that, it's going to impact our healthcare infrastructure because doctors don't want to live in a state where the basic medical procedures they need to perform on the daily is something that they could be arrested for or criminalized for, which means that our state is less able to get competent health providers. In good news, we are maybe looking at a ballot measure to make sure our state pays for school meals. This will be a measure that folks could vote on as a constitutional measure to make sure our state is required to fund school meals. I think this is one of the best things our state can do. I think every dollar we invest in youth, especially in youth eating, pays off 10, 20-fold. Prevention is always cheaper and more effective than intervention, and a lot of the instability and problems that we see for health or stability within our population can be related to growing up in food insecurity, not having the good nutrition while you're growing up during your developmental years, as well as how you might feel about the world when you spent a lot of your youth starving. Being able to assure all youth can eat and being able to take that stress off of parents is just such an incredible net good. It's such a good investment in North Dakota. In other news, veterans are able to ride for free on the MAP bus in Fargo for now. I'm not sure exactly how long this is going to last. There was just an announcement through MAP bus services that they are doing this, and I think that's cool. It's just one less thing that they might have to worry about. There is a newsletter that North Dakota Medicaid put out for their members. I have been trying to share this because there's a lot of opportunities for individuals to get involved with ND Medicaid if you're a member, to let them know how your life is going and to make sure that they are aware of your needs. There's a really good article by the North Dakota News Co-op, which does investigative journalism or just long-form journalism, really looking and sinking into subjects. But they did an article on a childcare effort happening in North Dakota. Childcare is something that we've recognized as a state need, and we put some funding into it, I think in 2021, 2023, maybe 2025, but I've never got the sense that we really have been tackling it as seriously as we should. I think a lot of our legislators are old and they're not raising families anymore, and they don't consider these things priorities, or they think that all of this should be personal responsibility of families. While they can have their feelings about that, when people look to work or live in North Dakota and they see no affordable childcare, they're not going to. And if we are mature and understand how these systems work and how to make our state compelling for people to live and work here or raise families, which should be a strong value of North Dakota, childcare efforts are essential, and this story that they put together seems like a really cool way that a community has tackled this. And then for the final story I have this week is 800 families are able to access food in under an hour provided by the Great Plains Food Bank pop-up. This is kind of a cap story just to let you know that, like, even with SNAP benefits somewhat being restored, we really have to look out for our neighbors today. And as I said kind of throughout this, we have to be more invested within politics and policy because our systems have been continually designed to not help us. And it's getting to the breaking point. Every day we're seeing groceries we can't afford, healthcare we can't afford, life we can't afford, even working 40 hours a week or more. Our systems aren't working, and we're recognizing that, and that's because a lot of people that are currently serving in power have no idea what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. That's all I got for the show tonight. I hope you had a good time with it. I will be doing a stream on Thanksgiving for people who need don't have anyone else and need a warmer spot to go to. I'll be playing Silk Song, which is a follow-up to my Hollow Knight stream. If you know anyone who might benefit from that, just share it with them. It's a casual event. It's not a fundraising event or anything. I'll just be there playing it so someone, can hear a voice, talk, and see me struggle in a game. Who knows? I don't know. Could be a good time. But I'll be back here next week, hopefully, and you have a good rest of your week. Bye.